Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, coming to you from beautiful, sunny Florida. I'm here with my wife for a little getaway from all the cold in the Northeast, but nothing can keep me away from you, so you're coming along with me to this beautiful little excursion of ours. I did have to comment on yet the latest example of the age-old maxim, get woke, go broke. I'm seeing a fish flipping around over there. It's so awesome. And now it's coming from the Olympics and the Winter Olympics coming from Cortina, Italy. And I'm just so sad about that. I mean, athletes are so ideologically gullible. I mean that. It's sad the way the legacy media is so easily able to goad them into vomiting their disdain for President Trump and Trump's America. And the latest here is coming from the American skater Amber Glenn, who apparently is not representing the United States, but instead has decided that she's going to represent the LGBT community.
Yeah, it's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now, especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that we didn't have to before. And because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and encourage people to stay strong in these hard times. I know that a lot of people say, you're just an athlete, like stick to your job, shut up about politics, but politics affect us all. It is something that I will not just be quiet about because it is something that affects us in our everyday lives. So, of course, there are things that I disagree with, but as a community, we are strong and we support each other, and brighter days are ahead of us.
What a bunch of utter, meaningless platitudes. I mean, seriously, think about the level of ideological brainwashing you have to go through to even remotely conceive of the world like that. This active athlete just basically said that she's using her platform, this platform that our nation gave to her, to be a voice for a community that is not specific to our nation. I mean, you heard her say it. This is all about, quote, human rights, not about American values. It's about human rights. And human rights, by definition, transcend nation, culture, custom, tradition, land, inheritance. They are globalist values. What you just heard in that rather incoherent rant was a literal babble of the globalization of American sport. But it didn't stop with her. There's also the American skier by the name of Eileen Gu. She's an American-born athlete. She's American through and through, and yet she's competing on behalf of China. And she decided she wanted to chime in and bash her own actual country. She criticized President Trump for calling out Hunter Hess and his comments about having mixed emotions about representing our country. You're right. I don't know if you saw that. I did a video on that. He said, just because I represent a flag doesn't mean I represent everything the flag stands for, which, yes, you do, but regardless. So this China sellout, this Eileen Gu, had the gall to criticize President Trump for calling out that nonsense. So Laura Ingraham didn't miss a beat. She tweeted out, very nice, Eileen. Now let's hear your thoughts on the Uyghurs. Boom! Right? Mic drop. You want to talk about politics, Eileen? Sounds great. What's your thoughts on the country you represent and their treatment of the Uyghurs? And Laura went even further. She noted that no American sports writer will ask Chinese athletes about Jimmy Lai, who was just sentenced to death in China for publishing truth. They don't care about freedom. They don't care about America. They just hate Trump. Bottom line, that's all this is. They hate Trump. That's what this goading is for the media. They hate Trump more than they love truth. Again, these are people who couldn't even tell you what a woman is, so they don't know what truth is. But regardless, now we're finding out that Hunter Hess, who's the original one who got all this woke nonsense started in the Olympics, he's backtracking big time. Did you hear about this? He's quickly reversed course after the firestorm that erupted. Within 48 hours of his mixed emotions comment going viral, Hess disabled all comments on his Instagram, and he posted a new statement striking a dramatically different tone, saying, "Oh, I love my country. I'm so grateful and honored to be representing Team USA. I can't wait to compete for the red, white, and blue." So obviously a very astute PR agent got to him and said, "Dude, Obama ain't president no more. You can't say nonsense like that in a nationalist age." So whoever it was who got Hunter Hess to do a near complete 180 from his original remark, you did a good job. In fact, the backlash was so intense that within 48 hours, both Hess and Glenn were in full retreat. Amber Glenn announced that she was stepping away from social media entirely after receiving what she called a scary amount of backlash. So she went from a platform to encourage resistance to going completely dark. And the reason for that is simple. And that's exactly what we're about to find out.
Now, did you know that Alzheimer's isn't waiting for old age anymore? It's spreading, it's accelerating, and it's showing up decades earlier. Early onset dementia and Alzheimer's are on the rise. Reports show a 373% increase in diagnoses among 30 to 44-year-olds and a 311% increase in 45 to 54-year-olds in the United States in recent years. But when doctors attempt to treat these brain diseases, they often focus on medicating the brain itself, addressing symptoms like Band-Aid rather than solving the root cause. Alzheimer's disease is driven by chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, which damages brain cells and triggers the buildup of toxic proteins. Now, these same destructive processes fuel neurodegeneration, cognitive decline, and even increase cancer risk, yet they're rarely the primary target of treatment. The root cause of many brain disorders is found in the gut microbiome. Groundbreaking research now links gut bacteria directly to Alzheimer's disease and shows that what we consume plays a defining role in not just cognitive but overall health as well. Numerous studies suggest that the number one thing you can do to combat these chronic diseases is to consume kimchi. There's so many bioactive compounds in kimchi that have been found to improve cognitive and memory function by targeting amyloid beta. That's the main sign of Alzheimer's disease that forms those sticky plaques in the brain. Notably, these same protective mechanisms are linked to reduce cancer risk with kimchi's ability to suppress carcinogen activating enzymes. So that's why Brightcore created Kimchi One. It delivers all the benefits of real kimchi in convenient capsules. No taste, no smell, and no GMO. 100% made right here in the United States. Today you can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link below for 25% off your entire order, or for the best deal available, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off plus free shipping. You'll love them. Call them now at 888-597-0233. That's 888-597-0233. Call them right now.
Americans have never been ambiguous about this. When you put on the flag, you represent the country. You don't represent your own personal politics. You don't represent your own personal moral code. When it comes to sports, even for most on the political left, we are a nationalist country through and through. We have long been conditioned to see national sports as events that bring us together as Americans. And the data backs that up overwhelmingly. There was an AP poll that found that 60% of Americans disapproved of professional athletes who refused to stand for the national anthem. This, of course, dealt particularly with the NFL and the NBA. Just check out my earlier video on that today with the fiasco of the Super Bowl. Nearly 6 in 10 Americans, 58%, said that not standing for the anthem can never be seen as an act of patriotism. And roughly the same number called it disrespectful to our country, to the military, and to fellow Americans. When it comes to the Olympics specifically, even athletes themselves agree. There was a survey of over 3,500 Olympic athletes. It was conducted by the IOC, and it found that 70% said it was not appropriate to demonstrate or express their own political views on the field of play or at official ceremonies, and 67% disapproved of podium demonstrations. The very people competing alongside, Hess and Glenn, believe political grandstanding does not belong at the Games. A YouGov poll taken during the 2022 Winter Olympics confirmed the trend among the general public. A clear plurality of Americans said athletes should not be allowed to publicly protest at the Olympic Games under our flag. I mean, the message from the American public has always been consistent and clear on this. Compete, win, make us proud, come home a hero. You were there at the Olympics to lift up a nation, not tear it down. I mentioned the other day when talking about the Olympics, the Miracle on Ice legend, Mike Eruzione, the man who captained the 1980 U.S. hockey team that defeated the Soviet Union during the Cold War. He was very upset. He was absolutely livid when he heard those comments from Hunter Hess about mixed emotions. I remember, Hunter Hess actually went on to say he's really more just representing family and friends, not his country. And Mike was like, dude, then you need to step aside, because the Olympic teams, for those who are there to represent the nation that gave them this incredible privilege and opportunity in the first place. And if you think it through, this was back in 1980, right? Miracle on Ice. If anyone had a right to distance himself from the country at the time, it would have been Mike and the U.S. hockey team, right? I mean, we had a complete and total imbecile in the White House, Jimmy Carter. We were the laughing stock of the world. We were being humiliated on the world stage with 50-plus citizens being held hostage in Tehran. We had double-digit inflation. But Mike knew that representing his nation was bigger than all of that. And so, what did Mike and that young American hockey team do? They laced up their skates, they put on the stars and stripes, and they pulled off the greatest upset in Olympic sports history. They didn't whine about their, mixed emotions. They lifted up a nation. And that is what the Olympics are all about. Now, the good news is that these woke athletes are learning that lesson whether they want to or not. Americans are not going to tolerate this woke absurdity anymore, nor should they have to. America is back, and every Olympic athlete is learning that lesson one way or another. Love you guys. God bless.